So Brian Cashman did an interview, and he made a couple things really clear, and that's what I want to talk about today. And I think it's important to really consider what he said, because he has the tendency to be cryptic and then very clear in the same in the same sentence or in the same paragraph. So sometimes it's hard to know what he's reading, but that's part of Cashman's mystique, right? That's one of the things that fascinates people about him and frustrates about him too, is that he's never really clear on what his intentions are. But that's, again, it's for a reason, I think. And again, this guy doesn't leak, because he doesn't leak because he doesn't want other people leak. And there's no sources, that are leaking stuff to people and channels. That's not happening. Okay, so, and I think we all know that. And but there's some telling stuff in his interview, and let's talk about that today, because this is the type of stuff that I want to make sure that you don't miss. So be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't do that. Okay, and I thank you for that. So now, one of the things that he made clear, and even the guys at John Boy were talking about this, and they were reinforcing what I'm saying here, is he made it clear yesterday when he said we're not done. Okay, we still are looking to add a left-handed hitting outfield. Now, there's a couple things he did say, right before that, is that Aaron Hicks is likely our starting left fielder, but it's also it could be a couple reasons why he's saying that, to gin up interest in him in a trade. And he also said, because he said by default too, so this is where the reading between the lines stuff when it comes to Cashman is important. And again, this is why I encourage folks to consider everything he says, not just run with one little thing. So if you haven't seen that interview, go take a look at it. I found it highly interesting but revealing, and I tend to dissect stuff that he says, but and you know me now, it's not it's I ride or die with my Yankees until the very end, and I don't rule Cashman out on anything until the very end, just like I don't rule out any other GM until the very end. So I think it's important to not do that, because again, there is still plenty of time. It's not only time leading up to pitches and catches, which is a little under 3 weeks, but we still got about 7 weeks or 8 weeks until the season starts, and there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen in spring training. Like I've said the last week or so, guys are going to get cut, they're going to get moved, they're going to get traded. Like, it just happens every year. So, but one of the things he made very clear is that they are not done, and I know a lot of folks think he's done. Okay, they've also shown a resistance to not going over the Cohen threshold, but that could change. Okay, and the reason why I think Jurickson Profar might be out of the running right now is because his price tag is still remaining a little bit too high, and it's kind of hard to be surprised by it, because he was over 3 WAR and his stats are pretty impressive. So, and it's not, I don't only look at home runs when it comes to stats. You can look at his doubles, his stolen bases, his production is kind of across the board pretty good. So I think it takes him out of the market. The fact he's a switch hitter, so he fits that profile in terms of somebody who hits lefty, but there's some other guys that might be in mind. I mean, I know people talk recently about the Yankees' potential interest in Max Kepler. Well, okay, if they want defense, all right, but I'm not sure he's going to fit the profile of staying under the Cohen threshold either. And I'm not ruling out Bryan Reynolds. Okay, nobody has bit on the asking price, not one team. Okay, I do think the Rangers still are probably co-front runners with the Yankees, but somebody can sneak in there. The Dodgers, the Mariners, and again, I also think the Rangers can sneak in there if they don't want to wait for a guy like Reynolds and get a Max Kepler, which would take them out of the market for Reynolds, which would make it easier maybe for the Yankees to get him. And the fact that nobody's asking or barking on that asking price or biting on it is telling too. So, it's a different situation than Luis Castillo, and I don't blame the Yankees for not biting on the Castillo asking price either. Mariners gave up a ton. They also extended him to an appropriate deal, which the Yankees will have to do too, if it's there. Any team. So, but the fact that he said nothing is over yet, we are not done, is important. I think it's very important, and I hope folks consider that when he's not making moves, and we just wake up one day and you go to the bathroom at 3 a.m. and you see breaking news on your phone, like, what the? Because that's sometimes Cashman's MO. This is what he does sometimes, and it surprises the heck out of everybody. I mean, did any of us think he was going to trade for Clay Holmes? I didn't. Scotty Frost? I didn't. I didn't even heard of these guys before he traded for them. So, but I'm glad that he traded for both. Even though E. Frost is going to miss the year, still got 4 years of control. And both of these guys, I'm happy that they have them. So, and this is the type of Cashman moves that I expect. And they've also said or communicated a willingness to go on the free agent market for relief pitching. They want another reliever as well. So who's out there? I mean, Matt Moore and Andrew Chafin seem to be the most logical names. Moore might be able to, well, I don't even know if they'll be able to get either one actually and stay under the threshold. They're going to have to make a move of some sort. And there's been talk about trading Gleyber Torres, and there's a name that's been floated out that Garrett Crochet from the White Sox would give him a left-handed reliever. It would also free up enough salary to maybe make it a little bit more easier to get somebody like a Jurickson Profar. So that's worth it. I mean, moving Torres, even though it would be an unpopular move, could address two positions at once: the relief and clear up payroll for them to get the outfielder. So, but we don't know what they're going to do yet. There's folks that, I do think Hicks gets moved. I don't think Donaldson gets moved. I think it's going to be way too tall to task. And I think Hicks and Torres could get moved. But if they stay, they stay. And if anybody's going to stay over the two, it's more likely going to be Torres. And I still think Hicks gets moved. So, but let me know what you think of that. I want to know, load up the comments with your feedback. Do you believe Cashman when he says they're not done? I do. Okay? What do you think he's trying to say? And who do you think he's actually going after? And this is why I love not knowing. The suspense builds up, and I think it's the exciting part of baseball for me. I don't like knowing in advance. And again, he's not putting out stuff, and neither is John Boy. They're just talking about what he said. Nobody's putting out propaganda just to run with it so that people can blindly believe them and just whatever. Okay, they're telling it like it is, which is what we try to do here too. So, but I'm curious to know what you think, and we'll talk about this more in the live stream. And that I found it, and I'm taking him serious when he says they're not done. I don't think they're done. I think they know they can't be done either, especially losing Frankie Montas and potentially questionable depth behind him. Even though I would love to see Matt Crook get a shot, but we never know. Davey Garcia, he's out of options though, but he could get a shot too. And you got Randy Vasquez, both of them are 24 years old. So you got Domingo Germán, you got Clark Schmidt, who's 27, Germán's 30. So they can provide some value, but what are they looking for out of a fifth starter is the question. They've got a good 1 through 4, but you get a really good, reliable 5. That could change the game too. So, but let's get into it. Let's talk about it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you have to say. Talk to you later.